stayed late at the office working overtime, dragged my tired body home. When I got in the elevator, a guy in a baseball cap followed me in. I live on the 11th floor. He hesitated for a while, then pressed the button for the 7th floor. When we got to the 7th floor, the guy walked out silently, but the elevator doors didn't close. I didn't dare to check. This neighborhood's already pretty run down. Other than the elevator, there is no security cameras in the hallways or anywhere in the complex. Only security guards doing patrols. Plus, I've heard there've been human traffickers around lately. That made me even more scared. I slowly shuffled my feet, pressed myself into the corner of the elevator, raised my voice and yelled to build up my courage. Who is out there holding the elevator button? After a long moment, the guy in the baseball cap suddenly showed up. Sorry, got off on the wrong floor. His tone was gentle, sounded kind of apologetic. The lighting was dim. I couldn't see his face clearly. His strong hands held the elevator doors open. His fingertips were rough, covered in calluses. Hardly anyone's around at this hour. Unless you're a workaholic like me coming home late. But the guy in front of me claimed he got off on the wrong floor. Either he doesn't live here, or he is drunk and confused. I sniffed lightly. Didn't smell any alcohol on him. Bullshit, you were totally following me. Get the hell out of here. Or, I'm calling the cops. The guy froze, stood there, stunned. Maybe my words scared him off. He let go of the elevator door and slowly backed away. The elevator doors finally started closing. But right before they shut completely, the guy suddenly stuck his hands in, blocked the doors from closing, pried the elevator doors. He lifted his head slightly. Under his hat were eyes like a vulture's, creepy and sharp. Hey pretty lady, do you live alone? His sudden move scared me. I let out a scream. What are you doing? I held my bag in front of my chest, backing into the corner. The guy looked up at the elevator camera, then immediately dropped his head again. His eyes were shifty. Then, he looked at me and said, Sorry, miss, I didn't mean to scare you. I just need a favor. I swallowed. My Adam's apple kept bobbing. I broke out in a cold sweat, forcing myself to stay calm. I snapped at him. Go ask someone else for help. I don't know you. You need to get out of here right now. A flicker of annoyance crossed his eyes, but he quickly put on his normal face. He forced a smile. Miss, I think there has been a misunderstanding. How about this? It is not good to keep holding the elevator door open. I suggest we step out and talk. He was still blocking the elevator door, his eyes darting around nervously, glancing into the hallway on purpose, like he was looking for something. He kept trying to lure me out. Once I was out of the elevator camera's view, he could do whatever he wanted. Keep this up and I'll scream. Go ahead and scream. The guy shrugged, looking totally unbothered. The apartment complex had mostly elderly residents, with bad hearing and good soundproofing. Even if I screamed my lungs out, nobody might hear me. So I changed my approach. I quickly pulled out my phone, pretending I was about to call the cops. Dial 911 directly. After I pulled out my phone, I suddenly realized they was dead. But I still kept on my cool, faking a call for help. I held it to my ear. Hello, 911. I'd like to report an emergency. I need to report something. I thought that would scare him off. But he wasn't fazed at all. Instead, he leaned against the elevator doorframe, tilted his head, and curled his lips, flashing a creepy grin. Stop pretending. I know your phone's dead. His words hit me like a thunderbolt. They shattered my belief completely. He gave off a really dangerous vibe. Right then, a loud knock came from outside the elevator. Knock knock knock. Hello, delivery. It was the delivery guy. I felt like I saw hope. I grabbed onto my last lifeline. I screamed for help. The delivery guy heard me. He rushed over. He yelled, Hey, what are you doing? The man looked pretty nervous seeing the delivery guy. He bit his lip, turned his head, and gave me a cold glare. Then he pulled down his cap, let out a grunt, brushed past the delivery guy, and left the elevator. I breathed a sigh of relief. The tension in my heart finally eased. My whole body was shaking uncontrollably. I felt scared after the fact. The delivery guy looked at me and asked, Miss, are you okay? I only then realized my palms were sweating. My eyes were wet. I choked out, Thank you. That guy was a trafficker. Thank goodness you showed up. The delivery guy gave a simple smile. He scratched his head. Haha. Just a small favor. Glad you're okay. You're out alone, sweetie, so you need to be careful. His gesture warmed my heart. I couldn't help but think there are still good people out there. Oh, right. I still have some hot cocoa from my last order they didn't take. The customer complained and refused it anyway. It'd be a waste to throw it away. So I'm giving it to you. It'll help calm your nerves. He stood outside the elevator and held out the drink bag in his hand. I kept thanking him. Just as I was about to step out to take the drink, I froze in place. Wait a minute. At this hour, who would still be ordering delivery? I suddenly realized the delivery guy in front of me might be fake. He is probably with that guy from earlier. I immediately pulled my hand back, stepped back into the elevator, quickly waved my hand to refuse. No thanks. Thank you. I tried to control my voice, not letting it tremble. The delivery guy paused for a moment, took a step closer. It is okay. Beautiful. This one's on me. No charge. The closer he got, the more uneasy I felt. I shouted. I said no thanks. Stay back. Usually traffickers work in pairs. One plays the bad guy, and the other plays the good guy. The guy in the hat earlier was obviously the bait, intentionally acting dangerous right in front of me. Then, his partner pretends to be a delivery guy and saves me, to make me let my guard down. When I relax, he lures me in. If I really went out to take that drink, the consequences would be unthinkable. The delivery guy's expression froze. He explained, Miss, I really am a delivery guy. I just helped you fight off that creep, whether he is real or not. I'm definitely not stepping out of this elevator. Fine, then please forgive me. I want to go home now. My tone was harsh and impatient. The delivery guy looked visibly disappointed, silently pulled his hand back, muttered softly like a puppy. Okay, only then did the elevator door fully close. I leaned my forehead on my hand and gently patted my chest. Tried to calm down. Couldn't help but choke up. Maybe I was a little too harsh with the delivery guy. Delivering food late at night, trying to help someone and getting yelled at and rejected. Anyone would feel hurt. But I don't know if he is real or fake. I can't risk my life on a gamble. Better safe than sorry. Dean. The elevator quickly reached the 10th floor. I couldn't wait to rush into my apartment and hide. But just as the elevator door opened, faint rustling sounds coming from the corner of the hallway. My heart started pounding again. Someone's out there. Then it hit me. How terrifying he really was. Right after the delivery guy chased that man away, he'd been stalling the whole time, deliberately keeping the elevator door from closing. Meanwhile, the guy who got chased off took the stairs to go up. He passed by the elevator first, saw me press the button for the 10th floor, figured out where I live. After going through such a close call like that, you definitely want to get home as fast as possible. If you step out of the elevator at that moment, you're leaving the camera's view, walking right into a trap. Everything was planned and premeditated. This is how traffickers operate. Slowly backing off. One wrong move, and you fall into an endless abyss. Of course. That's assuming my judgment is correct. I hesitated for a moment, then decided to stay in the elevator and not get out. Extra caution means an extra way out. Right next to the floor buttons, there's an emergency call button, usually used by people stuck inside when the elevator breaks down. I fixed my eyes on it. Just as I was about to reach out and press it, a soft voice sounded again. You, huh? I turned toward the voice. A tiny kitten showed up outside the elevator. That rustling sound earlier was coming from it. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. There are a lot of stray cats in this neighborhood. They often wander into hallways or get dropped off by their mom at people's doors, hoping someone kind will adopt them. The kitten stared right at me with its big watery eyes. Its round little paws peeked out from under the brown and white fur. It opened its mouth, showing its pink gums, and let out a pitiful meow. No one could resist such a cute little kitten. My fear completely vanished. I crouched down right there, making silly sounds, and reached out my hand to lure it over. But the kitten didn't come to me. Instead, it lowered its head and sniffed around. That is when I noticed a small piece of sausage by its paw. You wouldn't even see it if you weren't looking closely. The kitten picked up the sausage from the floor, stuck out its tongue, and pulled it into its mouth. The food went in, and it shook its little head while chewing seriously. Wait, why would there be a piece of sausage by the elevator? A chill ran down my spine. The kidnapper's trap wasn't over yet. They figured I wouldn't come out right away, so they left the sausage by the elevator in advance, and let the kitten loose, using a cat to trigger a girl's sympathy and lure me out. The elevator doors still wouldn't close. The lights in the hallway flickered on and off, giving off a dangerous vibe. The only safe spot was leaning against the elevator wall. That guy with the cat was probably hiding outside, waiting to ambush me. I decisively pressed the elevator alarm button. After a long, annoying alarm sound, a reassuring voice finally came from the elevator speaker. Hello? Is this a security issue or an elevator malfunction? His voice sounded really lazy, like he just woke up. The neighborhood's security was a joke. Any stranger could just walk right in. And the security guard wasn't responsible at all. He wasn't even patrolling. He was dozing off instead. The property management was terrible too. The hallway light had been broken for half a year, and no one fixed it. But right now, he was all I could rely on. Security guard. My elevator doors are broken. They won't close. I think someone might be holding them open from outside. The guard let out a yawn, sounding a bit annoyed. Just step out and take a look if you're so worried. I'm too scared to go out. What if there is a bad guy? You're way too picky. Believe me, I'll report you. I admit I was a bit impatient, turning all that anxious energy into anger, taking it out on the security guard. Alright, which building are you in? I'll come take a look. Right after I gave my location. Then the call ended. The elevator door closed on its own, silently, and I was back in the closed space. I let out a long sigh. Never thought such a tiny space could make me feel safe. After thinking it over, I pressed the button for the first floor. If the security guard came, I'd see him right away. Plus, the 11th floor wasn't safe anymore, leaving the little kitten alone. Compared to the cat, I needed rescue more. The first floor arrived. This was the third time the elevator door opened. This time it was completely empty outside. No person, no cat, dead silent. Only the dim hallway light casting a pale glow on the walls. I was afraid the kidnapper would send the elevator back up, so I stuck my bag in the doorway, kept it open like that, waiting for help. But several minutes passed, and the security guard still hadn't shown. Then, I heard the sound of heels hitting the floor in the hallway. The security guard didn't come, but another woman showed up instead. She was dressed lightly. A1 shoulder top with denim shorts, showing off her long pale legs. She smelled faintly of alcohol. Her cheeks were slightly flushed, and she was a bit unsteady walking. She brushed her long hair behind her ear, looked up groggily and said, "Thanks." She thought the elevator door opened for her, sent me naively. Then stumbled against the elevator door. With a loud "Earth," vomit-like kanji came pouring out of her mouth. She had too much to drink. From her outfit, she looked like she just came back from a nightclub. I looked her up and down. After hesitating for a while, I decided to help her up. Took a small step forward, gently patted her on the back. At the same time, I carefully poked my head out to see if anyone was around the elevator. One look, and besides us at the elevator in the hallway, there was no one else in sight. That made me breathe a little easier. The woman finished spitting out the paper. She got up, and there was a bag on the floor. I have tissues in my bag. I looked where the woman was pointing. Outside the elevator's camera view. There really was a designer bag. I glanced at the bag on the floor. I didn't pick it up. Instead, I squatted down and grabbed some tissues from my own bag, handing them to her to wipe her mouth. The vomit on the floor smelled sour and nasty. The woman woke up, blew her nose and let out a long sigh. She slowly came back to her senses, grabbed her head, and stumbled into the elevator. Leaning against the wall, she slowly sat down. She said weakly, "Press floor 7 for me, thanks." Just now, I had a scary moment on the 7th floor. I was worried they hadn't left yet, so I explained to the woman, "Sorry, miss. I can't take you up right now. Someone was just following me. I think they might be human traffickers. I already called security, just hang on a bit. It is safer if the security guy takes us up." The woman wobbled her head and asked, "Human traffickers? Screw those human traffickers. They've been showing up all over this area lately. Either kidnapping kids or innocent girls. How do they get so bold? Come on, try kidnapping me too." I liked her personality right away. Feisty, then gutsy. She is definitely the type to love and hate hard. I leaned next to her, waiting for the security guy to show up, and tested the waters. "Do you live alone too?" The woman rested her head against the elevator wall. She nodded slightly. "Then you might be a target too. Earlier I saw 2 sketchy guys on floor 7. One was wearing a cap. The other was a delivery driver. Who orders food delivery this late? They're definitely in on it together." I almost fell for their trap. The woman mumbled, "Delivery, my food's here, my food, delivery's here." I stared at the woman surprised. "That delivery was yours." Then it hit me. The delivery guy actually helped me out of kindness. He chased off the bad guy for me, so I was wrong. The woman was hiccuping. She fell asleep, slumped against the elevator wall. Then, she collapsed on the floor. Right then, footsteps came from outside the elevator, along with a bright flashlight beam. "Hey, who pressed the call button just now?" The man's voice was super reassuring. I was thrilled. I waved and yelled, "Over here, security guard." The flashlight was so bright it made my eyes hurt. The security guard walked over. He looked around the hallway. "There's nobody here. Come on, don't keep the elevator stuck. Go home now." "No way, security guard. Those guys are still upstairs. You have to come up with us. Make sure we get home safe." The security guard sighed. Impatiently, he waved his hand and said, "Fine, fine, so much trouble. Oh yeah. That girl's bag is left here. Pick it up." With the flashlight shining. Sigh. I also mustered up the courage to step out of the elevator to help the woman get her purse back. But right when I stepped out of the elevator door and bent down to pick up the bag, I suddenly realized something was off. How did the security guard know whose bag this was? I whipped my head back to look. Just now, with the blinding flashlight beam, I couldn't even tell if the security guard was the real one. I could only vaguely see he was wearing a uniform. That is when I noticed the guard's fingers were really rough, and there were traces of blood on his collar. Under that hat hid a pair of terrifying eyes. He wasn't the security guard. It was that hat guy from earlier. By the time I regretted it, it was too late. I was completely out of the elevator's camera range. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the security guard lying outside the building entrance. His uniform had been stripped off, and there was bright red blood seeping from the back of his head. I gasped sharply. Right then, I heard the hat guy's creepy laugh from behind. Hehehe. Man, it was really hard to trick you into coming out. The man's voice was like a ghost. Every single word was breaking down my mental defenses. Cold sweats started breaking out on my back. I thought to myself, crap, I walked right into it. The hat guy had already eavesdropped on my call to the police back on the 10th floor. So, he purposely closed the door and let me go. Then, he waited at the first floor entrance to ambush the thug. When the security guard showed up, he knocked him out, put on the uniform to trick me out. When I saw the security guard's uniform, I was so desperate for backup that I naturally let my guard down. Just like a lot of human traffickers do. They'll first do something rude and cruel to you. Then, have an accomplice pretend to be a patrol cop to help you, making you relax your guard. Until you end up dragged into a car and taken away. The creepy laughter kept going, slowly getting closer to my ear. My body instinctively wanted to run, but the second I took a step, a strong hand covered my mouth. I didn't even have time to scream, just a muffled grunt, as I was yanked backward, like a vortex, sucking me in. The man dragged me to a corner. No matter how much I struggled, it was useless. Our body sizes were way too different. He completely overpowered me in strength. I couldn't fight back. The hallway lights flickered on and off, like the devil blinking its eyes. I have no idea where the man got the rope. He pinned my hands behind my back and tied them up, then pulled out a sharp knife from his pocket and pressed it under my chin. A playful smirk spread across his face. You're smart, and very alert too. You almost figured out all my tricks. But I suggest you stay put. If you try anything funny, this pretty little face of yours is gonna get sliced up. The guy taunted as he lifted my chin. His head leaned in close to my neck, and he took a deep breath, sniffing my scent. Then he stuck out his tongue and licked me. A damp, warm sensation spread from my neck, itching and irritating me like a bug. I jerked my head back, swinging my tank top strap hard, to hit him right on the bridge of his nose. The guy winced in pain, holding his nose for a moment. Instead of getting mad, he laughed. Heh, I like 'em like this. This guy was a total psycho, and extremely dangerous. He slowly stood up, adjusted his hat brim, and turned his attention to the drunk woman in the elevator. Hey, wake up, help. She was my only lifeline. If he got to her too, no one else would probably pass by this late at night. All hope of survival would be lost. But the woman was dead drunk, with no intention of fighting back. She just lay in the elevator, moaning. The guy kept his head down, trying not to show his face on camera. He walked into the elevator, casually carried the woman out, and gently laid her down next to me. His rough hands softly stroked her face, and he flashed a creepy, satisfied grin. What a cutie. But I don't like the boo smell on her. As he said that, the guy raised his knife and gently sliced through the woman's tank top strap. Snap! The strap broke with a sound. His face lit up with even more excitement. His Adam's apple kept bobbing. He was about to reach out and touch the woman's arm, but pulled his hand back, mid-air. He shifted his gaze to me. The elevator door slowly closed right then, leaving the entire hallway completely off camera. It became his personal playground to do whatever he wanted. He didn't dare move. What if he messed something up and couldn't explain it? The man's eyes flashed with greed. He reached his hand toward my chest. Right then, a dark figure appeared at the stairway entrance. He lunged at the man quickly. Clang! The dagger fell to the floor. I could see the two men wrestling together. The sound of fists hitting echoed through the hallway. Taking a closer look, I realized it was that delivery guy from the 7th floor. He hadn't left. The delivery guy appeared like an angel, out of nowhere. He pinned the man down and punched him in the face again and again, cursing him out the whole time, until the man stopped moving. Then, he stood up slowly, breathing heavily. Huff, you guys okay? My eyes got a little watery. My nose tingled. Thank you. Just a few minutes ago, I suspected he was the man's accomplice. I even talked trash to him. Never thought he'd be the one to save me. The delivery guy wiped the sweat off his forehead. He crouched down beside me and untied me. This was my last delivery of the shift. I figured I'd clock out after this one. I went up to the 7th floor and knocked, but nobody answered. Then, I ran into you. After I chased that guy away, I called the customer. He said he was downstairs and to wait a moment. But I saw the elevator stuck on the 1st floor, and it wouldn't come up. I thought maybe it was broken. So, I took the stairs down to check. Then, I heard you screaming for help. Good thing you were here. Otherwise, this area has no surveillance cameras. The neighborhood is really unsafe. A lot of young girls and kids have been trafficked. No one even notices. I feel lucky, it went my way. If that drunk woman hadn't ordered delivery, and if this guy hadn't been so kind-hearted, we wouldn't have been saved. Just when I thought we were about to be rescued, the delivery guy suddenly stopped what he was doing. He slowly lifted his eyes and stared at me. A hint of barely hidden greed flashed in his eyes. His breathing got fast. His gaze swept over my chest and the woman's pale long legs. He couldn't help but swallow. You said there is no surveillance here. No one would find out. Right. A chill ran through me again. The delivery guy got all lustful. He was actually thinking about taking advantage of the situation. You could see the inner struggle in his eyes. He stared at my chest for a long time, then glanced at the drunk girl's thigh next to me, seemed a little shaken. No cameras in the dark hallway. The fewer people around, the more a person's dark side gets blown out of proportion. Buddy, listen to me. Untie me first. I'll make it worth your while. You have a good heart. You're kind, don't lose your head. I was trying to wake up the good in him. From the way he stepped up earlier, his heart wasn't bad. Just sometimes, he can't resist temptation. Sweat was starting to bead on the delivery guy's forehead. He licked his lips. His breathing got faster and faster. But I've never even touched a girl before. I won't. His face was flushed. His throat moved up and down. His hands loosening the rope had already slid from my arm to my thigh without me noticing. Hold on, buddy. That is not right, what you're doing. You just did a good thing. Don't end up like him doing bad stuff. Right. I kept rubbing my hands together, trying to get free of the rope. The delivery guy had his hand on my leg, touching it. It was shaking a little. He muttered to himself, "It is okay. It is fine. I'll just feel a little. No one will know it was me. No, I know how hard it is for delivery guys to make a living." Suddenly, he launched into my arms, started sucking on me like crazy. No, I screamed. Tried to fight him off. But my shouts didn't stop him. They only made him more excited. Right then, the guy in the hat who was on the floor got up. He picked up the knife, sneaked up behind the delivery guy. Pass. The delivery guy let out a muffled groan. I heard the sound of a blade sinking into flesh. The delivery guy in my arms twitched all over. Blood gushed from his mouth, sprayed all over my clothes. I looked up in shock. The guy's face was bruised black and blue. He wiped away some nosebleed. His hand was holding a blood-stained dagger. Blood dripped slowly from the tip onto the floor. Son of a bitch. Just the damn delivery guy, and he dares to mess with me. The guy grabbed the delivery guy by his hair, pulled him off me, and flung him into the corner. The delivery guy braced himself painfully, one hand clutching his waist, blood pouring out non-stop. In agony, the guy yanked the delivery guy's hair backward. His whole head was tilted up. The dagger pressed against his throat. He grinned. You like playing hero, huh? Too bad. If you're gonna save someone, go all the way. Instead of being a two-faced scumbag. With that, a flicker of light flashed. The dagger slashed across his neck, cutting through the artery. Blood gushed out wildly. It looked stark under the harsh light. A pungent, bloody smell spread. The delivery guy clutched his throat, opened his mouth to scream, but blood filled his mouth. His eyes met mine. But this time, his gaze was full of regret, until the delivery guy went still. His eyelids stopped blinking. Only then did the guy laugh up to the sky, satisfied. The guy crouched in front of me, stuck the blood-covered dagger to my mouth. A smile curled on his lips. Looks like you really pity him. Come here. Lick it clean. I just witnessed a murder scene. I couldn't stop shaking. My eyes were welling up. The guy in front of me seemed even crazier than I thought. I pressed my lips together. I turned my head to the side. He glared at me. He reached out and slapped me. He grabbed my cheeks. He yelled at me. Lick the blood clean. He was way too strong. No matter how much I fought back, it was useless. Just then, the drunk woman next to me raised her arm to block her eyes. She frowned. She shouted, in an annoyed tone, "Oh man, so annoying." My heart skipped a beat. That woman had been puking by the elevator earlier. Now, she seemed to have sobered up. She rubbed her eyes impatiently. She struggled to open one eye. Even in the dim hallway light, she could clearly see the guy threatening me with the knife. Plus the sight of the dead delivery guy in the corner. Her eyes went wide. She was instantly sober. She immediately scrambled out of the hallway. The guy realized something was off. He let go of my face. He jumped up and chased after her. The woman was wearing heels, but she ran pretty fast. But her shoulder strap had been cut earlier. She quickly grabbed it with her hand, just as the guy was about to catch her. She had already reached the elevator area. She bent down to pick up her bag from the ground. She pulled out a small can. She faced off against him. Stay back. The black can in her hand looked like pepper spray. A lot of women who walk alone at night carry that stuff. It is usually used against muggers and creeps. If you get sprayed, your eyes won't stop tearing up. You'll be coughing and sniffling like crazy. Breathing feels like burning. If you use it right, it is a great self-defense tool. But if you don't, it is a weapon that could kill you. The guy stopped in his tracks. He stood about a foot away from her. He gave a playful smirk. He said in a light tone, "Easy there, sis. Put that down. Take it easy." The woman was crying, her mouth drooping. She was holding pepper spray, her hand shaking uncontrollably. "I'm begging you. Leave me alone. I didn't see anything earlier." Then, she pointed at me, shouting excitedly, "Him. Go to him. Do whatever you want with him. I swear I won't tell anyone." Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. It came out of her mouth, like it was perfectly natural. All she felt was fear of that guy. No fear at all for someone else's life. The man's laughter echoed through the hallway, like the whisper of a demon. "Little sister, you got it wrong. I'm not here to rape you. I want you, the person. A trafficker never turns down one more person. We grab whoever we can. Even if we can't sell them for much, we still don't lose. Especially girls with all their limbs. And a pretty face. They're a hot commodity for the bachelors in remote villages. Kids and girls snatched by traffickers. Almost all end up so deep in the mountains. Little kids might be okay. They don't know any better. And get adopted, but older kids, when they refuse to accept their new parents, they get their arms and legs broken, sent to beg on the streets. Girls are almost always sold to bachelors as wives. If they don't behave, they get tied to a pole or a rope around them on the bed. Every day is just being a tool to have kids. Until they give birth and then get dumped. It is brutal, completely inhuman. Of course, there are special orders too. Traffickers specially target single women living alone and kids raised by old folks. They take secret photos, put together a file, and send it to the buyer to choose. Once a target is picked, the traffickers lock onto the prey and find any way to snatch them. The greed in the man's eyes made me realize in an instant. His real target was this girl all along. I was just a bonus. Back when we got on the elevator, the guy hit the button for floor 7 to go after her. He tracked her movements, knew she'd be the last one home. So he planned to ambush her by her front door. Didn't expect to run into me coming home from work. It just so happened the woman wasn't home yet. After hesitating a moment, he decided to make a move on me. There are 2 ways to kidnap someone. The first is using knockout drugs. That method costs more. It's also harder to drag away somebody who's passed out. Usually only gangs use that approach. The other is violent abduction. It's mostly used on kids and women. Kids are easy. Just give them candy, and they'll follow quietly. By the time they realize they should run, it's too late. But grown women are more alert. They usually trick you into going somewhere remote or where there are no cameras. Then they threaten you. The knife in that guy's hand is the signature of violent abduction. No one's not scared when faced with a knife. Once he threatens you, if you don't follow him step by step, getting in that car means you're headed to hell. The woman and the trafficker stared each other down for a long time. She still wouldn't put down her pepper spray. The man's patience was wearing thin bit by bit. He couldn't hold it in and yelled. I said, "Put it down, you hear me?" The woman was already crying her eyes out. She was sobbing so hard, she couldn't speak. She backed away slowly, her whole body shaking badly. The man finally lost it. He lunged forward in one quick step, grabbed her wrist, and twisted it hard. The pain made her let out a muffled groan. In an instant, he snatched the pepper spray out of her hand. Let me go, let me go." The woman struggled desperately, but it was all useless. The man had her hands locked tight. Suddenly, he yanked her into his arms, and leaned in close, in front of him, his voice full of menace. He sneered coldly. "You don't want to end up like that dead body on the ground, do you?" The woman's anger slowly turned into fear. Her lips were pressed tight, and trembling slightly. She leaned back, trying to get as far away from the creep in front of her as possible. Seeing the woman stop struggling, he finally showed a satisfied smile. He dragged her into the hallway. His gaze shifted to me. He licked his lips. "He is a client's order. I can touch him, but you're not. I'd rather have some fun with you. Don't waste such a good body." The guy's perversion was beyond anything I could imagine. Even while kidnapping someone, he couldn't hold back his animal urges. The blade traced across my collar, sliding down my chest, and finally cut the belt of my skirt. I closed my eyes in despair. Tears streamed down my cheeks. My hands were tied. I couldn't fight back. I choked out, "After you're done, will you let me go?" The man's hand ran through my hair, gently petting me like I was a dog. "That depends on how cooperative you are, Auntie me, and I'll do any position you want." The man was stunned. A flash of surprise crossed his eyes, but he quickly recovered his composure. He decisively cut the rope binding me with his knife. "You better not try anything tricky. My blade has eyes." "Then, take off your pants." The woman watching this from the side asked cautiously, "If I do it with you, can you let me go?" The man, while unbuckling his belt, grinned mischievously. "Little girl, your money. You're not like him. Now, either turn around and wait for me, or just watch like this. Either way, I don't care." The The woman timidly turned to face the wall. I lifted my skirt, took a step back, and said, "Come on." The man's face was full of excitement. He licked his lips and reached out to grab me. Just as he dropped his pants and stepped forward, I instantly dropped my skirt, spun around to dodge him. Brushing past him, I slipped past the man and made it out of the stairwell. A flash of surprise crossed his face. He rushed out to chase me. But how can a guy holding his pants up catch a woman in the skirt? In just a split second, I was out. I burst out of the building. The moonlight was so bright right then. It lit up the whole neighborhood. I sprinted into the security booth and locked the door behind me. This was the only safe enclosed space. I reached for the phone to call for help, but there was no phone in the booth. Right then, a figure suddenly appeared outside the window. He had called up. His eyes were filled with murderous intent, staring right at me. He was holding a kitten's head by the scruff and dangling it back and forth. I knew I had completely pissed him off, but I didn't have any other option. I had to run. His sick, twisted eyes never left me. A creepy smile spread across his face. He started pounding on the window. Blood from his hands smeared on the glass. The man was relentless. In just a few seconds, the whole window was covered in bloody handprints, blocking my view, right as he was about to put the last handprint on, through the tiny gap left. I saw him looking at me. He gouged out an eye from the kitten's head. Blood mixed with the gooey fluid from the socket, and slowly put it in his mouth. Chewing it slowly and deliberately, drool dripped down the corner of his mouth. His face showed pure satisfaction. Then he smiled at me, gum smeared with blood, with a grin, as he pressed the last bloody handprint down. I couldn't see him anymore, and suddenly, the once safe security booth felt terrifying. Any second longer in here was suffocating. Most people who've never been through hell would crack under this pressure. He was trying to force me out. With this tactic, my stomach churned. I fought back the urge to throw up, and curled up on the floor, holding my head in my hands. I closed my eyes and stopped looking. Outside, the man kept pounding. Each hit made the booth shake violently. The echo kept ringing in my ears. After a long time, the pounding stopped. I lifted my head, thinking he must be after the girl who had been there the longest. After all, she was his real target. But I underestimated how crazy he was. Suddenly, the air was filled with a burning smell. The temperature inside the pavilion kept rising. He was trying to burn me alive. The man was using fire to force me out. As the temperature inside climbed higher, I saw more and more smoke seeping through the crack in the door. It choked me so bad, I couldn't breathe. I covered my nose and mouth with my sleeve, and crouched right in the middle of the pavilion, away from the walls on all sides. The fire actually had one upside for me. It would alert the nearby cops with the smoke, and set off the fire alarm, so I could get rescued. But as time ticked by, I started calculating how long the fire trucks would take. From receiving the call to showing up on scene, by the time they got here, I'd probably be nothing but ashes. The smoke got thicker and thicker. The bloody handprints outside the window, lit up by the flames, looked like a scene straight out of hell, ready to swallow me up any second. Just then, I heard something slamming against the door again. Bang, bang, bang. I had inhaled too much smoke. I had no strength left in my body. Everything in front of me was getting blurry. If that guy really broke in, I'd have no chance to fight back. Boom. Finally, the security booth door was forced open. But it wasn't the man who appeared in front of me. It was a cop. Hey, wake up, don't fall asleep. The police officer picked me up, wrapped a wet coat around me, and carried me out of the fire. Fresh air rushed into my lungs. An incredible feeling of relief spread through my whole body. I had been saved. This is what it feels like to survive. Looking at the guy in the hat getting subdued outside the gate and the late ambulance, the drunk girl from earlier was standing by the cop, crying, her phone clenched tight in her hand. I let out a long sigh of relief. When that guy in the hat came after me, he left the girl alone in the hallway, which gave her the chance to call 911. When the cops saw the fire and the guy covered in blood in front of the booth, they quickly took him down and risked their lives to pull me out. And that is how I got rescued. With me and that girl pointing him out, he finally got caught. The cops followed the trail, found his contacts up and down the chain, and in his house, they found a bunch of trafficked kids and young women locked up. But there was still a lot of missing people they never found. Anyway, that whole thing finally wrapped up, and I got back to my normal life. That day, I was working late again. I stepped into the elevator, was about to press the button for the 11th floor. Then, a hand suddenly blocked the elevator door. It is you. Right in front of me was that woman from last time, who was drunk. Even though her calling the cops saved me, that doesn't mean she did it for me. When that guy threatened her, she still chose to throw me under the bus, so I didn't feel any goodwill toward her. The woman was wearing clothes similar to last time. She smelled like alcohol. But this time, she wasn't drunk. She pressed the button for the 7th floor. The sound of the elevator moving made the whole atmosphere awkward. The woman kept glancing at me, sideways. She broke the silence first, Thanks for last time. I checked the security footage at the police station. If you hadn't dragged me into the elevator, I probably would have passed out in the hallway. Her state caught me off guard. Then I said with a little smile, no worries. Traffickers have a lot of tricks, just don't accidentally fall into their traps. Living alone as a woman can be really unsafe. Girls, the woman lowered her head, apologizing to me for what happened last time. I waved my hand and said, that pepper spray thing you had last time wasn't great. Too easy to dodge. Oh, right. I've got one at my place that works pretty well. I'll recommend it to you. Yeah, sure. Girls bond super easily. So, the woman canceled the button for the 7th floor. In the short elevator ride, I told her loads of trafficking methods traffickers use. Ding dong. The 11th floor arrived. Out of habit, I poked my head out. Checked there was nobody around, then felt safe enough to take her hand and walk out of the elevator. The girl followed closely behind and asked curiously, hey, sis, how do you know so much about how traffickers operate? I pushed open the door to my room. Inside, it was pitch dark. From the dim corners, the eyes of countless kids and young girls peered out. Standing behind her, I leaned in close to her ear and whispered, because you were supposed to be my order. The end.